Hey guys, I wanted to go through some guard retention drills I've been using recently with my students that I think really speeds up the learning process, okay? So one of the things, when you're escaping side, understand the person is always trying to get inside this elbow knee space. You can kind of be up here, right? They're always trying to get inside this elbow knee space, right? So when you're in side control, one battle is trying to work your way out to find the space to get your elbow and knee connected. And then the other skill set is once you're here, being able to get back out. So I've kind of taken for granted a lot of times when I get the knee in, I'm very good at getting out from there. I almost have like 100% escape rate if I have my elbow and knee together. But a lot of people I see can get to here, but they struggle with that. So I really want to focus on this position and then the position where the guy's in north-south and defending from there. Because if you can't get out when you have your elbow and knee connected, then it's going to be hard. Then it's basically impossible to get out from full side control. Because to get out from full side control, you need to go with them inside your elbow knee space to getting them outside of it and then escape. So we want to start at the end and get good at that. As you guys get better at that, you'll find it just carries over into your side control escape normally. Okay? So the main thing here is we're just going to start with this elbow and knee connected. The person on top can just kind of have like a grip here and just be loose like this. It's a very common situation. So the main thing here is people will get this knee in, but you're still not centered. I need to get back in front of her with like my feet in front of her, right? I ultimately want to clear this leg all the way out somehow so she's in front of me, right? So the main way to do that is we have to focus on this outside leg needs to get some form of contact on her. And there's three main ways to do that. It depends on how she is. One is just like if this hand is like maybe up here or something, is once I have this elbow knee space, I'm just gonna push on her shoulders and use my left heel to go over like this. If she's tight, understand that this knee acts like a ram, so stay super tight, right? I can push with this knee, it's really strong here, right? Everyone is super strong here, even if the guy's like 100 kilos or 220 pounds. As long as I have this knee, not the shin, I can't push with my foot, but this knee can press really easy, right? So she stays super tight here. I can push with this knee and use my hands, one hand on each shoulder to create that separation. And then we want to loop this foot over on the shoulder. From there, I can push to create space, and it makes it easy to bring my legs back in front. And now we're back in the grip fight phase. If you ever watched my video, the 4 aspects of a high level guard, I cover a lot of those ideas, okay? So now I'm back in the front, okay? So a couple of other situations that can happen here is I have the knee in and maybe her hand's more on my low back like this. And in this case, it can be hard to lasso over that because she's kind of blocking your leg. So another one I'll do is I push and I bring this top knee under and in. And my shin is gonna kind of work on her bicep, almost like a spider hook, but you just kind of frame here. But this works no-gi too. So I just use that shin and that pressure from this outside leg makes it easy to center up and bring this out. That's the common theme. We're always trying to get some form of pressure with this outside leg to bring this foot out. Okay, another one is like if she clasps hands around my neck and I have my elbow and knee in here, again, I'm gonna push and create space. You can go down that way a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna push and create space here and I use this left foot to go on the side of her hip. See how I put it in here? Sideways, right? So from here I can push, if she's really tight here, they're really strong, I push on the tricep here, I tuck my head, and I go underneath to clear that. Now I can push on this knee here a bit, and again, this foot here clears me out. I know some people will be worried about the Estima lock here, but when they're in side control and they're on your upper body, they're not gonna have the time to get down to that. And by the time I clear my leg out, this foot's gonna come out immediately, so you'll be pretty safe. I've never had it happen to me, okay? A couple other concepts here that are really important is understanding the angle of your hip. You can kind of go over here. Okay, so understanding the angle of your hip is important, right? For this leg to work well, I need to be at least centered or turned in. So I'm always trying to create this kind of my hip turn towards her or at least centered, right? If you get turned away, this leg becomes really out of play. See, I can't bring my foot over there, right? Maybe I can, I'm flexible, but if you're unflexible, it's really hard. And even if you do, it's just really out of position, you can tell, right? So I'm always trying to stay centered or do this kind of hip rock motion. That's why I often talk about leaving this leg up, right? If this leg is on the floor when you're here, it opens this space a little bit because it's harder to keep this tight, right? The higher this is, the closer this is. And also the less of my body on the mat, it's easier to rock, move. Think of like a top. It spins really well, like because there's one pressure point, right? A book doesn't spin, a top does, right? So I want to be tight like this, so I'm more mobile, okay? Sometimes I'll use this hand on the hip. That's more in like the guard retention before they get in, so my hip doesn't get turned. But often when I'm here and she's coming in, if I'm on my side already here, now because I'm turned into her, I can use this hand to push whatever I need to. Right there, I would probably go here. That's another common one is they'll grab that pant leg like this and I can hook my left foot in on the bicep here. And again, I lift, and as long as she holds, it doesn't matter. That helps me center up and come back through. Okay, so what I would recommend for that one is start doing specific sparring where you start on bottom with that elbow and knee connected. The person on top's job should be to try to get inside the elbow knee space and secure the pass finish. Your job should be to get all the way back out into the open guard. And what I mean by that is just both legs free and in front of her. So she starts here inside, whichever control variation. I start moving, creating space, then I go here, push, and once I get here, I'm back in front. Okay. So yeah, so anyway, we're here, we're trying to center up like that, right? So now let's look at the north-south position, right? So the north-south position also is a really common problem. So I'm kind of trying to recreate what I think is the position when escaping north-south, that if you got there and you're good at it, you should have a very high chance of escape, right? And we're gonna work on that, right? So the position that looks like for me is just gonna north-south, is I wanna have my, the top part of my forearm kind of framed in her armpit. So drop your weight down now. Yeah, so I'm here like this. Doesn't matter how big the person is here, if you have a good frame, you can keep them off, right? The mistake most people make is they push on the hip, and that allows her to drop chest to chest, and now it's much harder, right? So what we wanna focus on is keeping this strong frame here, right? Again, I generally always like to have my legs up. I don't like to have them on the floor, right? What I do when I need space, as she drives weight into me here, is I rock like this to try to get out. As I get out, I keep one leg straight, can be either one, and I'm gonna swing towards the side of the knee. In this case, I would go here. Once the knee's in, again, that makes it hard for her to keep her weight in me. I can push, and now this outside leg, similar to the side escape, is gonna look to make contact. It could be here, it could be here, it could be on the chest, just somewhere, so you can push and try to bring yourself through, okay? This will come about naturally, like if I'm inside again, and we're here and we start escaping, people will often take this arm and go over your head. As they do that, I switch here. What they usually do is they now switch this to try to control the near hip. Exactly, I get my elbow here, and now I'm gonna tap the floor really quick to try to race my way out here. And now once I get my feet up, I try to never put them back down. Whenever I have to put them back down, it's kind of like I'm taking a step back in the game, right? So now she tries to drive her weight forward, I rock, and I try to swing my knee in. From here, there's a lot of possible combinations of what she can do. I usually frame the bicep, push here, loop my foot in, and try to work out from there, okay? So again, like those are skill sets. That's the way I try to do jiu-jitsu, is I break everything down into these like mini games or mini skills that you develop. And what you'll find is if you're in a normal match and you have those skills down, your brain doesn't know the difference between positional sparring from side control in a regular match or doing specific sparring, right? When you're in side control, you're in side control. So if you get good at specific sparring, escaping side control, or from this little micro position, then when it occurs in a real match, if you sparred a lot from there, doing the specific training, you'll just do the same exact thing, right? So you just hyper train these little micro positions in matches, and it'll carry over into your regular match. One of the things that happens when you're developing on these escapes is, you know, I'm showing you guys a technique through a video. In person is very different. There's a lot of possible combinations of what someone can do to make it more difficult. When you learn techniques, often people show like, here's the technique. You do this, step 1, step 2, and it works. But within every technique, there's like, you know, hundreds of little possible variations of where guys can put their hands, how they distribute their weight. And it's hard to capture all that in video, right? So what I really want to do is like you guys start using this specific sparring training, and then I want you guys to comment, because this is how I teach my students, right? I want you to comment and let me know after you guys do the specific sparring and training, let me know what little things are bugging you or giving you a hard time. Also message on Instagram on there, because it's really easier for me to do small little things and stories and stuff. I'm trying to create a very interactive movement so that I can kind of teach on social media as I would in person, because there's a lot of little things that you just can't capture, because it would take like a 100-minute video just to get all those little micro things, okay? So guys, if you can, follow me on Instagram at JohnThomasBJJ, and leave comments on there, leave comments on here, and try to create a back and forth so we can address some of these smaller issues. Let me know how it goes trying to do this. And as always, if you like the content, like, share, subscribe. Thanks a lot.